Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. I really love that quote from Macbeth by William Shakespeare. It really does put me in the mood for what I want to talk to you about today, and that is my October TBR. Hello, friends and fellow bibliophiles. Welcome back to Cat's Novel Adventures. My October TBR is pretty extensive, so I really need to refer to it more like a pile of possibilities. There are some books on my TBR that are priority, and these are the books that I'm reading for Year of Christie, as well as for book clubs and for a buddy read that I am doing. So I have to make sure I make the time for those books first, and then whatever other time I have is going to be where I read the rest of the books on my pile of possibilities. Keep in mind that not only am I reading a lot in the month of October, because it is my favorite month and it is the spooky season, I am also watching a lot of spooky movies. So I have to balance the time between the two because most movies are anywhere from like an hour and a half to 2 hours. So I have to be able to budget my time really well between both books and movies. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me talk about the priorities first. For Year of Christie, I decided that I am not going to pick out of my Year of Christie jar. I went to go see A Haunting in Venice and really loved the movie and decided that I wanted to read the book that it is based on. So for October, I am reading Halloween Party, and it is a Hercule Poirot mystery, and it is about a young girl, Joyce, who is at a Halloween party. And she's pretty surly. She's 13 years old, and she boasts that she once witnessed a murder. When no one believes her, she storms off home. But within hours, her body is found still in the house, drowned in an apple bobbing tub. Famed detective Hercule Poirot is called in to investigate. Set against a night of trickery and the occult, it's up to Poirot to uncover the real evil presence responsible for this ghastly deed. So I can already tell just from the synopsis that this is slightly different from the movie, but I'm excited to dive into it because you know me, I'm really having a lot of fun with Agatha Christie this year, and I'm also having a great deal of fun with Hercule Poirot. There are 3 books on my TBR for book clubs, and the first one is the FOMO Book Club. Their selection for September and October is The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. I'm very excited to finally get to this book. I've wanted to read it for a very long time. I could not manage it in September, so I'm really hoping that I can read it in October. It sounds wonderful. It is about a reclusive author, Vida Winter, who is famous for her collection of 12 enchanting stories, that she has spent the last 6 decades penning a series of alternate lives for herself. Now old and ailing, she is ready to reveal the truth about her extraordinary existence and the violent and tragic past she has kept secret for so long. Calling on Margaret Leah, a young biographer troubled by her own painful history, Vida disinfers the life she meant to bury for good. Margaret is mesmerized by the author's tale of Gothic strangeness, featuring the beautiful and willful Isabel, the feral twins, Adeline and Emmeline, a ghost, a governess, a topiary garden, and a devastating fire. Together, Margaret and Vida confront the ghosts that have haunted them while becoming, finally, transformed by the truth themselves. So really sounds good. I love the fact that there's that Gothic strangeness because I really do love Gothic stories. For the Cozy Cottage Book Club, They have chosen their first graphic novel, and it is Garlic and the Vampire by Bree Paulson. I haven't read anything by Bree Paulson. I just think it's kind of cool that we're going to read our very first graphic novel. It really does look cute. Garlic feels like she never can do the right thing. Somehow she feels like she can step up when they discover that there might be a vampire that has moved into the neighboring castle. So we're going to see what kind of adventures Garlic gets up to and if she can do what she needs to do to help her vegetable town. For the middle grade March book club, they have chosen The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. I'm very excited to revisit this book because I have already read it and I love it. It's one of my favorite middle grade books by Neil Gaiman, and it is about a young boy named Bod who would seem like a normal boy if he didn't live in a graveyard and he wasn't raised by ghosts, but he has to live there because it really is protecting him because of something really, really bad that happened to his family. And as a result, that's how he ended up in the graveyard. But he can't leave it because if he does, he may encounter the sinister man that caused so much trouble for him and his family. I'm also buddy reading a book with my friend Kelsi over at Slime and Slashers and Amy at the Amy Taville Library. We will be reading Salem's Lot by Stephen King. I'm very excited to revisit this story. I've read it a couple of times, but it has been a little while since I read it last. It takes place in a small, sleepy town. It has very creepy, spooky vibes, perfect for the spooky season. There's even a creepy house in it and some creatures of the night that cause a lot of havoc in the small town. But it's going to be a good time. And in addition, we are also watching the two made-for-television movies, the one with David Soul, which I believe was made in the 70s, as well as the one with Rob Lowe, which I believe was made in the 90s. So I'm not sure. I don't ever think I've seen the Rob Lowe movie, but I've seen this David Soul movie a couple of times, and there's a scene in there that still creeps me out today. Now it's time for the readathons, and I am participating in two that will run from October the 1st through October 31st, in addition to me continuing with Fall Bookish Bingo. So the first readathon is Victober. Very excited about this because it's been quite a while since I've read some Victorian literature. This is being hosted by Katie at Books and Things, Kate at Kate How, Marissa at Blatantly Bookish, Petra at Petra U, as well as Roz at Scally Dandling About the Books. They all have announcement videos with recommendations because each one of them has chosen a challenge for Victober. So there's 5 reading challenges plus a group read. I will leave information in the description box below, their channel information, so that if you want to check out their channels and see their announcement videos, please do, because they not only gave the announcements and the challenge and information, but also plenty of recommendations. So the group read that they're doing is The Way We Live Now by Anthony Trollope. This is a chunker, but I've decided I'm going to read the group read because they have created a schedule. It goes throughout the entire month. So if I can stick to their reading schedule, I can finish this book by the end of the month, and I think that is doable. Now, this book also counts for 3 of the challenges. So Kate, Marissa, and Roz, their challenges will fit that book. So at least I've completed 3 of the challenges by reading it. The other 2 challenges, I'll have to see how I'm doing as the month progresses and see if I can find something to read for it that is not very big. Another positive point of this readathon is you can read poetry as well as short stories. That's the direction I will go in if I have time to read for the other 2 challenges. So The Way We Live Now will cover Kate's challenge, read a Victorian work with a stranger or an outsider. Marissa's challenge, which is to read a Victorian work by a new to you author, and Roz's challenge, which is to read a Victorian work where class features strongly. Now, Katie's challenge is to read a piece of Victorian New Woman fiction, and Petra's challenge is to read a Victorian first-person narrative. So if you are participating in Victober and you know of any poems that might cover Katie's with the New Women fiction or Petra's with first-person narrative, please let me know. And also, if you know of any short stories, and I'm talking short stories, not, an extensive one, then maybe I can add that to my pile of possibilities as well. But again, very excited to participate. It will be my first time and just very excited to read something different, during the month of October. The second readathon is Hallowtween. This is being hosted by my friend Stormi over at Storm Reads. She has a bingo board with 9 prompts on it. I will link her channel in the description box below so that you can check it out and see what the prompts are all about. This is going to be fun because it is children's lit that you get to read for the spooky season. I have chosen some books that I think will fit for these prompts, but I haven't designated them yet. So I'm just gonna read the prompts and then I'll show you the books that I'm considering, because it could also change, because I'm thinking about adding a book to the pile. But the first one is Retro Spooky, read a book older than 2003. So think about like Mary Downing Hahn or Goosebumps. Number 2 is Monster Mash, read a book with a monster of some sort on the cover. So you get to determine what your monster is. Number 3 is a creepy cover, read a book with something on the cover that just gives you the creeps. 4 is read a book with purple on the cover. 5 is read a book with green on the cover. 6 is to read a book with orange or black on the cover. 7 is turn the lights on, read a book with a light source on the cover. Just think of a book with a moon in the background. That's a great light source on a spooky night. Number 8 is Face Your Fear, read a book that has something you are afraid of on the cover. And then number 9 is Trick or Treat, read a book featuring Halloween or a fall setting. So some of the books that I am considering are The Scarecrow Walks at Midnight by R.L. Stine. You know me, I'm loving the Goosebumps. I'm really enjoying them. Mine by Delilah S. Dawson. And this looks like it's about a creepy house. And look at that cover. Creepy. Giving you some goosebumps. Now, a fun one that's for some scaredy cats who don't like to read super spooky. You could read Geronimo Stilton. It's Halloween, You Fraidy Mouse. I love Geronimo Stilton. He's precious. And when you look in the book, the writing has pictures. They use special fonts. It's colorful. And this one also has jokes in it and some little activities in it. So I think this would be fun. And if you know anything about the Geronimo Stilton series, they do have a multitude of holiday books. So there might be even another Halloween book in there. Now, I did not get to finish my Catherine Arden series, which is the Small Spaces series. So I'm carrying those over. And Dark Waters is the 3rd book in the series. And then Empty Smiles is the 4th book. It's a quartet. So I have to see how it fits in. I can definitely use the Dark Waters one for the green on the cover, but I'm debating on this one for purple or for clown. So, because clowns creep me out, and clowns can be a monster too. So like I said, I haven't decided yet. I'm also considering Night of the Gargoyles. This is written by Eve Bunting. This is a beautifully illustrated book. The illustrator is David Wisner. He's a fabulous illustrator. But this one, I mean, look, spooky vibes. You got a light source right here. You've got a monster on the cover. Like I said, So many possibilities. And what I love is that Stormi included picture books, because you know me, I have a love for them. Another Garfield book, Scary Tales, and look, light source, creepiness, get you in that spooky mood. And then another Neil Gaiman book called The Wolves in the Walls. And this is also illustrated by Dave McKean. So, yeah, very creepy, spooky. Now, I have also been thinking about revisiting Bunnicula. I think that would be a fantastic book to do for Storm's challenge as well. And I can also count for the challenge Garlic and the Vampire by Bree Paulson. So that is also a possibility. But these are the books that I'm considering, and I just haven't designated yet where I'm going to fit them for the prompt. And again, it's if I can get to all of them. Now, for Fall Bookish Bingo, I do have quite a bunch of books left to read. I have some activities still to do and then a movie to watch. So for the movie prompt, it's to watch a horror or Halloween fall themed movie. I'm going to get that covered with my marathon that I'm doing. But for the activities, I think I'll be okay with those as well, because I still have to make and enjoy a fall treat, wear a cozy sweater, or get under a cozy blanket while I'm reading, make a purchase from a small business for a fall or Halloween craft, try or make a new recipe. And Sarah says, think comfort food. So maybe a soup, and then read on a rainy day or during a thunderstorm. So as long as I get some rain, I can, complete that prompt as well. So the activities, I think I'm going to be fine on. It's going to be completing the reading. I have not done a lot of the reading prompts for September. The books that I've read just haven't lent themselves to the prompts yet, but there are 13 of them, and I know that I'm not going to get through all of them. But the good news is the books that I have on my TBR, like Salem's Lot, I can count that one. The Goosebumps book, the Scarecrow one, is Sarah's pick, so I can count that one. That's one of her picks that she's doing for Fall Bookish Bingo. I might even be able to use the graphic novel for the spooky or witchy graphic novel prompt. So some of these, and I definitely can count Halloween Party for the the cozy mystery. So I do think I can get to more of the squares, and I'll be able to at least make a bingo or two. At least I hope so. But some other books on my pile of possibilities that could count for Fall Bookish Bingo is The Vessel by Adam L.G. Neville. And this one would be for a spooky or creepy cover. That is very creepy looking to me. And I would love to get to Holly, because I'm currently reading If It Bleeds. It's the last Holly story I have to read before I can get to Holly. And this could count as my book that was published in 2023. And then last but not least, I have Slewfoot, A Tale of Bewitchery by Brom. And this would count for the prompt of reading a book featuring witches. So I'm just hoping that I will be able to read all of the books that I have in my pile. I know that that's a tall order because it's quite a lot, and I'm wanting to read that chunky book for Victober. Salem's Lot's pretty chunky as well. So we'll see what happens, but I'm very pleased with the books that I have chosen so far. I have added 2 more stories to my October pile of possibilities. The first one is the recently published and highly anticipated YA novel Autumn Crow High, Fresh Hell by Cameron Chaney. I'm very excited to get to this story. I love Autumn Crow very, very much. In fact, I am kicking off my spooky season with reading Autumn Crow High. The second story I will be reading is a novella called Mr. Harrigan's Phone by Stephen King, and it is in his collection, If It Bleeds. October is going to be a spooktacular reading month, and I am thrilled with my pile of possibilities. How about you? What are you doing for the spooky season? Are you participating in Victober or Hallowtween or one of the many other readathons or reading challenges happening in October? How about Fall Bookish Bingo? Or have you decided you're just going to mood read during the spooky season? I want to know. Let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate you stopping by. In the meantime, stay amazing and be adventurous.